Welcome to the second episode of the Transient Thoughts podcast. Today I'm going to talk about being child-free. And the reason why I want to be child-free is, well, actually it's more like multiple reasons. One of them is the fact that I have multiple psychological disorders, ADD, depression, anxiety, and I'd rather not pass those on to kids. It's never really been a good thing to have those things, and I've really experienced them most of my life. I can remember when I was about 5, maybe 6, and I was willing to ask for, I wanted to ask my parents for certain things, and I was too afraid to say anything, and I would count down in my head from like 10, and I'm like, okay, when I get to 1, I'm gonna ask, and then I would just like not ask anyway. That could also be because my parents abused me in various ways, mentally and physically. And so maybe the anxiety is more of a byproduct, but at the same time, the way that our physiology works is that it's kind of like the you are what you eat thing, but you are what you think, and you can actually change the chemical makeup of your brain. And I would rather just not have to worry about any potential accidental mutations or whatever in the DNA structure of my body, or even if it's none of that. It comes down to, I'm not ready to have a kid, and I never will be, because I missed out too much on life. I didn't really get to be who I wanted to be as a young person. I never really have been able to travel. I'm almost 35. I've never really gotten a chance to explore not only myself, but the world. And a child takes all of that away. The number one rule as a parent is you must sacrifice. You have to. You don't have a choice. And if you fuck that part up, you fucked up as a parent. Because your job isn't to raise a kid. Your job is to raise an adult. I was not raised properly. I was not an adult by the time I was 18. I was still a child. And there are plenty of people in this world who are very much the same. And I have no judgments towards them. I more have a judgment towards their parents. And, sometimes the parents, they just weren't ready and shit happened. But we also live in a world where abortion is apparently such a big deal that we can't even let people have a choice over whether or not they should be parents. We also make it to where adoption just doesn't seem like a vital option. Yes, we need to make sure that people are good parents and that they should be able to adopt a child who needs this love and care and attention because they just didn't get it. And you're also going to have to be a pretty strong person as an adoptive parent because you're probably going to be dealing with a damaged child, which is also one of the reasons why nobody wants to have an adopted kid, because they're going to have to take care of somebody else's screw up. I mean, the child's not the screw up, the child is the byproduct of their screw ups. And this is why a lot of times adoptive kids are actually so really well adjusted, because the parents that they got were way more loving and caring because those parents chose to be parents. They weren't parents who quote unquote chose because they didn't get the abortion. They were parents who chose because they wanted to have the kid. Unlike most parents, in a lot of cases where it's just an accident. Yes, there are a lot of parents out there who try all the time. It just means you're fucking each other all the time. And there's so much more to being an adult than just being a parent. And there are so many people out there who have this negative opinion of people who are child-free. Oh, well, you're just being selfish. No, everybody's being selfish. Everyone is selfish. I don't want to take care of a little human being because I can't. I'm not equipped. I don't have the tools. And a lot of people don't have the tools, but they think they do, and then they rub it in people's faces, and they're really bad at it. They're very, very bad parents, and they don't know that because their kid is still alive, and thus they've somehow succeeded. And ultimately, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Just because you have a kid and your kid grows up to be an adult, it doesn't mean you fucking won. It doesn't mean that you succeeded at being a parent. It just means you did what was necessary to keep a human being alive. And most of the time, including myself, that person has to go on and somehow fix their life and the fuck-ups that you gave them. And it takes way more time than just 18 years.